Are you looking for a place to catch your PB, your personal best big bass? Where should you look anyway? Where should you find that thing? What type of lakes? Whoa! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls, and welcome to a spectacular fall here in southern Oklahoma. We've had a little storms, we've had some tornadoes, we've had a little rain, not a lot of rain, we've had a little rain. In places they had a lot. Here at the Eagle we haven't really had that much. But what incredibly spectacular fall days we've had. So many days that it's just dead calm. Of course, it's usually calm early in the morning. It gets windy a little bit later, but we've had so many days that it just stayed calm. And now we're down into the situation to where 70, 75 degrees in the 50s in the morning. It's just about as perfect as you can possibly get. If you're not subscribed to the Catch of the Day channel, hit that subscribe button right now. If you are subscribing, this is very important. Share it with as many people as you possibly can. We want to try somehow to get this thing, we're 18,000 now, try to get this thing to 20,000 by the end of the year. So we start a new year, and the new book, Catch a Better Life, the new book, we start with 20,000 people on this channel. October 20, Matthew 15:11. I believe this is Jesus talking. It is not what people put in their mouth that makes them unclean. Many of y'all have read this many times. You know what Jesus is getting ready to say next. It's not what people put in their mouths that makes them unclean. That's right. It's what comes out of their mouths that makes them unclean. What comes out of your mouth that makes you unclean? Not what you eat, what you say. Have you ever found shad or bluegill or crawfish or crawdads in your live well? Not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight at all. Those are bait fish that bass have just spit up. You can see how different they are from what they were just a short time earlier. They have gone from being something absolutely beautiful to something really, really ugly after they were down in the belly of that bass. And then we caught the bass, put him in the live well, he spit them back up. By the way, if you're doing that in tournaments, before you weigh your fish in, you want to always check and see if there's any shad or bluegill or crawfish in your live well. Because if there are, and you didn't put them there to start with, if there are, your bass has spit them up. So they were in the bass when you caught them. So you want to take those and put them back into bass. You just want to put them back into bass. An ounce, 2, 3 ounce has caught me and made me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I've missed $10,000 checks by an ounce. I've won $10,000 checks by an ounce. More than once, both ways. We spit out a lot of bad stuff in our lives too. We spit out a lot of bad stuff. We spit out things like gossip. We talk about other people. Backbiting. We talk bad about other people. We spit out lying. We spit out malice. God knows that the bad things that come out of our mouth can really, really cause us a lot of trouble. The things we say sometimes are more detrimental to us than the things we actually do. The things that we say, they're detrimental to us in a lot of ways. If we got in the habit of just saying bad things about people, that's going to be very detrimental because God can't bless you when you do that. God just can't bless you when you're saying bad things about other people. Plus, when we get mad or we get jealous or we get envious, we have to say things that we don't even really mean at all. They just kind of came out in a fit of anger. Things also that we'll later on be ashamed that we said. Ashamed that we said. Listen to this. Can I tell you the most gracious people I know? The most gracious people I know always seem to pause right before they speak. Maybe they're thinking about what they're going to say before they say it, instead of thinking about it after they've already said it. So I think we'd all like to be that gracious person that simply doesn't ever say anything bad about anybody, doesn't talk about people, doesn't pass on the bad things that you hear from somebody else. And many people, when they pass them on, embellish bad things that they heard. But when we talk about somebody, we say nice things about them. We edify them. Even if they're our enemies, we find something nice to say about them. You know, my daddy told me when I went to the first high school dance that I ever went to, I said, Daddy, what am I going to do if none of the girls will dance with me? And he said, they'll dance with you, son. I'm going to tell you how. And I said, how's that? He said, every time you ask one of them to dance, before you ask them to dance, say something nice to them. Say something nice about them. Tell them that they sure have a pretty dress on, or they sure have pretty hair, or you really like the color of their eyes, or just say something nice. And he said, those girls will dance with you. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Now, I got to admit, there was a couple, 2 or 3 girls that I danced with. I had a hard time. I had a hard time coming up with something nice to say. But I always did. I always did. And I tell you what, I can't dance really well, but the girls are standing in line ready for me to dance with them because they knew when I did, I was going to say something nice about them. There's a magic deal about saying something nice about people. You get called gracious. You get called the most gracious people I know. The most gracious people I know. When you just say nice things about other people and leave out all the other stuff. Just zip it up. Don't even mention it. You know something bad, don't pass it on. You've heard something bad, don't pass it on. You just upset at the person, you just want to say dirty things about them, zip it up. Don't do it. Say something nice about them instead. Here's our tip for today. Where can we catch our PB, the biggest fish? Well, we've been working on that, me and my buddy Josh Jones, and he has caught his biggest fish. This last 2 years in a row, he's caught the biggest bass he's ever caught. I think 12-something and now 14-something. In fact, he did it twice this year. He caught a 13-something and a 14-something. And I was down there with him. I didn't catch one that big. But go to smaller lakes. Search out smaller lakes wherever you live that they have stocked with some big, particularly here in the South, if they've stocked with Florida bass. They've stocked Florida bass in a lot of the smaller lakes here in Oklahoma. They did that in Texas also, by the way. And I think they've done it in some of the other southern states. They stock lakes with Florida bass. Down in Florida, you got them there naturally. Search out some of the smaller lakes. They're easier to fish. They're easier to isolate the places where the big fish will hang out. So small bodies of water can produce really, really big fish. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I sure do love you.